on the stage, they think, oh, this is an aggressive, dominating human being. And there is truth that I do get aggressive against the powers of darkness when I know something and I prophesy. But actually, I can be very tender and very intimate, as people have found out. So I love that you're getting to know me better, and I'm getting better reports from people now. Don't forget to follow, tweet. I send out words and things that are happening, and it's Prophet Kim, okay? Excuse me. I want to speak to you about something very quickly that has sort of rattled me a little bit, because people don't look at my prophecies, and then some send tweets and emails saying, oh, you think that God doesn't judge, and God is not just fuzzy and lovey all the time. You think I'm stupid? You think I haven't read the Bible? I'll just tell you something right now. Explain something to you who think that. Go and read my prophecies. Go and read them. My prophecies have judgment. My prophecies have chastisement, purging, encouragement, uplifting. But everything is about destiny, and there's always a redemptive issue at the end. God doesn't just do something because he's mad. Now, so I'm going to read you one or two prophecies pertaining to now, what God is doing in Iran, Israel, and what's taking place this very minute. We have Sunil with us, but what I'm going to do before he shares one or two things, I'm going to share this with you because you need to understand this. I'm not going to do a long message because we've taken a lot of time. But it's September the 17th, 2005 in Detroit, Michigan. This is what I prophesied. It is time for Babylon, the weak, to be ultimately destroyed. Now, we're talking about Iran here specifically. Now, I'm not saying he's going to kill all the children or something. We're talking about the spirit of Babylon. You understand that? That is in America too. So, it is time for Babylon. He says, Babylon the great has fallen, but Babylon the weak will be buried. Now, it means that the influencing power will not be able to continue at the rate it's going now. And I have many friends, and specifically Mancow, who I greatly respect, who has sent me a bunch of texts about, because, he knows a lot of things, and he has a great perspective. But ultimately, people think that this is the end of the world, this is the end of America, and I will not prophesy because it's not what I've seen. So writing to me and saying, stop prophesying this, or God's put a lying spirit in your mouth, just don't do it, because I'm not going to say anything he didn't tell me to say. And I've been on about this, and God is not judging America. He is chastising. He is purging. But we've got to put the judgment in the right place. Put it on the scales, guys. Look at Islam is the only religion that allows heads to be cut off, demands it, unless there is a denial of Christ. Think about it. And yeah, you want God to judge America. America, listen, it has faults, and God speaks about in this. But this prophet is going to prophesy what I see. I can't prophesy what I don't see. And what he said was, it is time for me to open up the graves from beneath the ground. This is talking about Babylon now, and the area of the Middle East. And he says, for they have looked upon the Western nation, Iran, and they have said, God, Allah, is punishing America. But God says, I am not. There is no Allah, no Kabbalah. America is being purged to be strengthened. Would a father not chastise his child? You have been chastised. But I will move through the Middle East, and God said, I will rise above, and I will reign from beneath up. I will push death to the surface and shake the earth, says the Lord God. And subsequently, there have been a few earthquakes. And this shall not be known as a purging in the Middle East, but as a judgment. So he's qualifying what the difference is in what he's doing in America, because America, he loves God and Christ and so on. And so he's purging them, chastising. But he says judgment is what I'm going to do to those that have defied me. And he's talking about the spirit of Babylon at this very point in time. God will not allow the enemy to mock the people who have chosen to call my name out loud. America. I don't care how many atheists there are and whatever you want to call them out there, secular humanists. This country is filled with righteous people, Christians that love God. And God looks upon them. He says, I will not allow anybody to fire them. Now that's the story about the Middle East, okay? America, let's talk about you. That same prophecy, or the same time in Detroit, this is what I prophesied. Don't tell me that I'm saying warm and fuzzy things, because then you're not looking at my prophecies. this nation, this is what he said, has opened its legs. He's talking about America. Now he tells you what the problem is. And God says, the Jezebel spirit shall be destroyed by what I do. Speaking about the Jezebel spirit that was on America. Okay? That was then. Now it's a spirit of Pythos that's trying to suffocate. He says, and the spirit Jezebel shall be destroyed by what I do, for there shall be and then he says about a tragic death that shall shake the White House. This is not the President of the United States, but it shall be a tragic death. Then I will join hands and join forces with a king. Then he says again, I'm not talking about the President of the United States now. I will join hands with forces with a king within the political arena. So there's a king within the political arena. It's not necessarily a monarchy, like England and so on. A king within the political arena. I will give a double portion, and the spirit of Elisha shall join forces. So there's a prophetic spirit upon America right now, the spirit of Elisha. Okay. The king and the prophet, the king of the kingdom, speaking of either at this point a great senator who's going to become the president or whatever, and the prophet shall join forces, and as a result of it, I'll bring the power of Jezebel down in America. So this is happening and busy happening. There shall not, now remember guys, please, this is September 2005. There shall not be a woman president yet. So when Hillary Clinton was at that place, you can just refer to this, and God was saying there's not going to be a president yet. There is about to be a woman president. But God says the day will come, but this is not the time for a woman president. By the way, I'm very strongly leaning towards Sarah Palin. If you don't like her, I'm sorry about that, but that is not the word of the Lord. I'm just saying it's in my heart right now. The spirit of, it's not going to be Clinton, absolutely not going to be her. The spirit of Jezebel is not necessarily in a woman. Of course, he's saying Jezebel's not a woman. It is a force that has controlled this nation called religion. What has it done? It has killed the prophets of the Most High God. How? By abortion. God's offense with America is abortion. That's what his offense is. Now, you can have prophets saying, well, God is going to judge them. What he's doing, he's telling you what he's going to do. But God said, no more. You cannot stop these children. In other words, they cannot legally kill prophets like Jezebel did. But the Jezebel spirit has stolen the prophets by legalization of abortion. In other words, that spirit is still working. What did Jezebel do? Jezebel killed the prophets. It's not legal today to kill prophets. So how can they legally do it? The devil cannot operate outside of what is legalized within a constitution or a jurisdiction. He has to. The laws are there for a reason. So that's why God honors government. But when a government or a governing power allows or legalizes abortion, then he is offended. Because the devil now has the power to take out what God has planned for the earth. And so what he says is, the spirit of Jezebel we dealt with by this force of Jezebel, who is still stealing the prophets, but now from the womb. And God is going to pay back with giving a double portion of these prophets. That's what he's saying about the double portion. He's going to give 2 for the place of 1 in this next generation. Kim, are you saying there's going to be a turning of the law? I totally believe that. It'll come because of this party that's going to arise, and also because of a woman that loves life.
Yes.
That's what it is. We don't want some woman as the president of this country that is pro-death, pro-abortion. Only in specific circumstances is it right. But I'm saying like rape or whatever, and even then, that's debatable. I'm just saying to you, this is what I'm not preaching a sermon, I'm telling you what the prophecy says. And don't write to me and tell me that you watered down and you're a candle prophet because you don't prophet. Go and read the prophecies. These were given years ago. And I'm trying to get people to understand God is not sitting with a big old hammer waiting to smash America to pieces. He's into restoration. He wants the prophets to arise. When I say prophets, I'm not just talking to people that just say, thus says the Lord. He says in this prophecy, the children are being born for business, born for politics, born for preaching, born for the media, born for the entertainment, to take every industry and to rush like a mighty rushing wind. That is about to be. Listen to me. Watch your kids. Listen to this word that I said to you before. We almost done, but Sunil's going to share something here as well. Watch your kids. What must we watch? Listen to these 2 words. Genius spark. Genius spark. A spark of genius is about to happen. Geniuses are about to be born. Okay, I'm getting serious now, okay? Geniuses are about, there are geniuses everywhere, but geniuses are being born because of what the enemy did to take away the prophets by abortion. What is a genius? Okay. A body of work or a singular achievement of surpassing excellence. Keep it there. A body of work or a singular achievement of surpassing excellence more, listen now, than just originality, creativity, or intelligence. It's more than that. Genius is associated with achievement of insight. Achievement of insight which has transformational power. A genius has an achievement of insight, not just creativity, not just intelligence, not just originality. We've got loads of those. But an achievement of insight which has transformational power. Did I not tell you that the generation coming forth are reformists? They have transformational power. This is called Genius Spark. And so at my kids' show, I'm going to have a section called Genius Spark and show you the geniuses of this world that are presently in the earth. A work of genius vastly raises the expectation of its audience. So there's an expectation. So I wanted to say to you, when God came to Abraham, he said to him, this is the exact words. I want to go to that scripture quickly. The exact words he said to him, or they spoke amongst each other at least. And he said, shall I hide, the Lord said, from Abraham what I am doing, since or considering Abraham shall surely become a great and mighty nation, and all the nations of the earth shall be blessed by him. In other words, what he was saying was, I'm going to speak to Abraham in reference to his destiny. I'm going to speak to Abraham in reference to his future. He hasn't got there yet, but I'm going to speak destiny language because he is going to become a mighty nation, and considering that, we should talk to him on that basis now. Isn't that incredible? So, he was going to discuss with Abraham about Sodom and Gomorrah, about destroying them. And Abraham pleaded with him if there were just 5 or 10 righteous. And I say the same for America. There are righteous people. You say, well, there's righteous people in Iran. But remember something now, that if you weigh it on the scales, and God will protect those, he is not going to bring judgment on America as such. Now, like earthquakes throwing us into the sea and all kinds of things. Those things will happen because Jesus said they're going to happen anyway. So, what he was saying was, talk to me, Abraham. Moses had to stop God from just killing all the Israelites while they're on their journey at that time, because his anger was against them because they were so hard-hearted. So, but he did speak to God, and God stopped. And that's under law. How much more under grace? So let's just be Christians, let's just be a little more sane when it comes to this, and stop representing God in this religious overtone and fashion that he's out there waiting to get somebody. Okay, please? For those that follow what I do and support me and help me, listen to me. This is so important, because it's not about me. It's about God and how he can invade and change things like that. But he's saying it to his prophets before it happens. Yes. And we've got to understand that it's not the small world that we think he operates in. It's global, it's universal, it's big. Yes. Everybody's saying, well, what's going to happen? Then suddenly he does something and changes everything. Correct. It's like Jesus going, listen, by the way, guys, I want to keep this piece to stay on the website because people are really interested in this. It's like Jesus going into town where the demon-possessed man is, crossed over the waters, got there, the man runs to him, and Jesus casts the demon out and puts them into pigs. And that whole area, the whole city, all the pigs run into the water. And now there's thousands and thousands of them. Can you imagine? The town was fast asleep, enjoying themselves on a Sunday afternoon or whatever. They all run out. The economy within seconds is affected. Terribly affected.
Yes.
And that's my feeling about God, is that he's not always doing things all the time, and things escalate and build up. And then suddenly, he does something. And he tells us he warned us about this. And he did it through me. And I'm thankful that you did, Lord, because I'm not going to stop doing this because we have some people out there calling me all kinds of names and stuff. I'm going to carry on because this is what he called me to do. And I really appreciate you sharing that. You know, there's other stuff I want you and I to talk about because the Lord spoke about 3 things in Detroit as well. He said about the 3 manifestations that Elijah had, that America was going to have. And he specifically said, do you guys want me to stay on and just do this one? Okay. Yeah, they want to. All of you out there, I appreciate you staying on just to hear this. I know time is getting on, but, well, actually, it's only been an hour and 30 minutes, so we're almost done. Okay. I think we should share this because people need to know this because they're wondering about America and President Obama and the present administration and what's going on. Why don't they care about what's going on in the Middle East? They don't really. They're not doing what they're supposed to do, protect Israel. I know this. And everybody's afraid. Well, God wants you to know that he is in charge. And he said this before Obama went in. He said, don't worry about him. Even though you're seeing all this, I, the Lord, will rule and reign this thing. And he's doing it. Look, if he can cause an eruption like that to just shake things up, how much more can he do? Why are we so power-minded? We've got to do everything. Yes, well, I know governments are in control. But yeah, he's speaking and saying, this is what I'm going to do about it. So this is the one thing that prophecy, so you can read it in a minute, the pieces of it. I was actually saying that when Elijah stood on the mountain, a great wind tore by. There was a fire and then an earthquake.
Yes.
And in this prophecy, I speak about those 3 manifestations. But what is the one thing that Elijah said when these things took place? God was not in the fire. God was not in the wind. God was not in the earthquake. Now, relating to that, even though you may have a different stand on it, God prophesied this prophetic word about the 3 things that would happen or had happened in America. One of them, which was the fire. He wasn't saying, and the fire that is speaking about was at 9/11. Yes. That was the worst thing that could ever have happened, and God was not in the fire. Yet we had people stand up and say, because of the gays, God did this. Why does he get blamed for disasters? So, but anyway, let's move on and see let's read the prophecy.
Okay.
Do you have it there?
Yes.
Okay. That piece, you may want to read the whole thing.
Okay. This is July 28th, and it's discussing about the 3 manifestations.
But pull up the main one.
Yes.
The main piece. I know you've got to find it. So, but let me finish this. So the 3 things, and then the next thing was Hurricane Katrina.
Correct.
So the Lord used me, and I say this humbly, to prophesy the 9/11 in a puzzle, of course, but it was prophesied. It didn't say 9/11. It spoke about the planes flying over, terrorist act, everything. Prophesied that. Prophesied Katrina. Katrina happened. Okay? There was massive wind and hurricanes and everything. Okay?
It's amazing.
So
yes.
Think about it for a minute. I'm not trying to bring credit to myself. I'm saying if he chose me to do the 2, he's going to choose me to do the 3rd one. Okay? Which he has already, which you've already got some great information about. So, and I'm saying all along, God wasn't in it. In other words, he knew it was going to happen. Yes, it was brought about by certain things. But who are we blaming here? The Middle East was to blame Babylon for 9/11. Okay? So, and that's satanic. Wow. Hurricane Katrina was, I spoke about the purging and stuff that would take place. And because the watchmen on the wall were not doing their job, but God was not in the hurricane, so to speak. You know, I mean, that was still an event that took place, which I foresaw. Okay. I think let's read something there at least of this.
Okay. July 28, 2007. Yes, there shall be 3 earthquakes, not earthquakes of judgment, but a sign in the earth. The wind has brought the rain, signs from above. Fires have come on top of the land, consuming religion, witchcraft, and control. You later go on to say, God says, this is a time where I want to clear debt, give properties over, so that you have keys to the soil. For I'm speaking of the soil that is being burnt by the fires, the soil being ravished by floods in this nation, and now the shaking underneath the earth. Soil must be taken by my people. Property is what I have, what I want you to have.
Yes.
We see in this, the 3 earthquakes, could it be referring to the 3 major earthquakes that have already started this year off? One in Chile, one in China, and one in Haiti.
Okay, I want them to get that very quickly because it's very important that they understand that. So what is God saying here? He's saying these things are happening, and he said there'd be 3 major earthquakes. Even though I know I prophesied the big one that'll take place here, and that is still has to be worked out. But he said there 3 earthquakes.
Yes.
And this is going to be a sign, but he said it's not his judgment. Is that correct?
Not earthquakes of judgment, but a sign in the earth.
A sign in the earth. This is what it's all about at this point. Jesus said there will be signs, remember? Now, these 3 was what was Chile? No, Haiti, Chile,
and China.
China. Okay. So when God does that, you must realize he's pinpointing geographical locations as well. And that's vital for you to understand.
And what I find so very interesting, the soil that is being burnt by the fires, the soil ravished by the floods, and now the shaking underneath the earth. You know, it's amazing. I've heard you say before, when these interruptions, when these signs occur, it's going to release something from the earth. Soil burnt by the fire.
That's
Could that be the volcanic eruption that occurred? Soil being burnt.
Yes.
Soil, the floods of this nation. We just heard in Nashville, major flooding has occurred.
Of this nation, right.
In this nation. And now shaking underneath the earth, which could refer to earthquakes. And I believe you've mentioned before, when things like this happen, a new source, new energies will start to appear. And I believe this, you had a vision recently, and in that vision you had the word ecology.
Yes, it's just recently.
Yes. And how I believe all these global interruptions that are occurring, all these signs, all have to relate to ecology. And could it also relate to the big energy discovery that you've been prophesying about for years?
That's totally what I feel it is. Because God said the shaken earth will release something that'll bring an end to the energy crisis. We're on a good pathway, people. Bad things are happening, but good things are happening out of it, as I've said before.
Vì giờ anh đã quên rồi, em đã quên rồi, dòng tin nhắn ấy quên rồi, em đã quên rồi, mình chẳng còn gì nữa rồi, còn gì nữa đâu. Quên rồi, em quên rồi. Giờ chỉ còn là những vấn vương, em mang cho anh bao nhiêu tiền ở ngân đường. Giờ chỉ là những cô đơn lang thang một chiều vắng, giờ chỉ là những cơn mưa say trong một chiều nắng. Nắng vàng nhẹ rơi trên đôi mắt em, nắng vàng nhẹ bay qua đôi mắt em, gà mà im trong cơn gió hay qua. Nắng nhẹ nhàng hôn lên đôi mắt em. Em đã dần quên rồi, quên rồi, em đã dần quên rồi. Ngày mình từng có đôi, từng quên rồi. Ta đã cùng đi qua bao cảm xúc, đi qua những cung bậc tình yêu. Ta chẳng thể giữ lấy nhau một phút, thế nhưng mà trên đời cướp một thu. Giờ đã có những thứ anh ấy ôm trên đời mình, em chẳng còn giữ để lại sự duyên tình. Bây giờ chúng ta chỉ đơn làng, giờ em đi theo ai cũng mang bang. Giờ ta hứa một đời sẽ mãi ở bên, rồi trong đôi mắt em bây giờ là những giọt buồn rối ren. Và đã có những cố gắng anh tem vào sâu nơi trái tim, để lòng này em ở đây cất bước ra đi. Một chiều hoàng hôn em mang mình lại cho anh những quên ô, mưa rơi xuống làm lên không anh đi ở đây có một tờ màu xám rồi đấy mà đây là nè nơi đó hỏi đây gì có tên đấy sáu cái cột nga này có nga thế này hai ngàn